Go.
In Africa, a lot of the population live on just 7 litres of water per person per day. That's only 1 minute of your shower time. Just to give you a perspective of how different people live. We're going to watch a quick video on how some girls, mostly girls, and we'll talk about that later, but they have to walk to get their water.
At 1 mile, I wish my day could start like yours. On a gentle walk to school, and later to a shopping mall, a party or a local park. At 2 miles, I contemplate what it's like at your place, to turn a tap and see the flow of water for a clean of teeth, a drink, a shower, and a wash of clothes. At 3 miles, I think of you. Perhaps you're in a swimming pool or eating at a restaurant with water bottles on your table. At 4 miles, I ask myself whether you ever give an idle thought about my trek through scorching heat. To the spring, the riverbank, a muddy hole where I collect the dirty water I must drink. I start the 4-mile journey home. A full container on my back. Sometimes I daydream about other children in other countries far away from here. I wonder what the distance is of their daily water walk.
Okay, it's a bit of an eye-opener, isn't it? Seeing how
sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. And 4 miles, that's nearly 8 kilometres each way to collect that water. And as you can see, it wasn't a very nice source of water, was it? So it really gives you an idea of just how lucky we are. 884 million people in the world lack access to water, safe water supplies. That's only 1 in 9 people. And in many developing countries, millions of women spend several hours a day collecting water from distant and often polluted water sources. In Africa, the average daily distance walked by women is 6 kilometres every day just to get water. So you can imagine the kind of impact it has on the other elements of their lives, like they can't go to school because they have to collect water for their family every day. You know, they've got children to look after, but they still have to collect water from 6 kilometres away every day. And obviously, a lot of people who are in that situation are also very poor, and so they've got a lot of other health and economic factors affecting their lives. So we're going to talk now about the importance of conserving water. Now, does anyone know what conserve means? No? Okay, now conserve, save is another word for conserve. So if you're conserving water, it means ways of saving water. And if we look at that video and we listen to those figures about how other people live who don't have access to water on tap, then we can get a better understanding of why it's so important to save water and be careful with water and why water is such a precious resource. To do that, we're going to read from this book. It's called Down the Drain, Conserving Water. Gives you an idea of just how much water can be wasted by looking at the front cover, doesn't it? And how we take water for granted, but it's not necessarily the right way to go about it. So I'll read to you guys, and then we'll do some brainstorming. So, why do we need water? Water is valid for our lives. Every plant, animal and person needs water to grow and stay alive. Water is also an important resource. We use it for washing, cleaning, cooking and drinking. Farmers use it for growing crops and raising animals, and factories need it for making things. 2/3 of your body is made of water. You lose water when you breathe out, sweat and urinate. To replace all the lost water, you need to drink about 2 litres of water every day. You need more if you're playing sports or out in hot weather. You could stay alive for more than a month without food, but you can only survive for a few days without water. So water is the most important substance that we need to stay alive. 2/3 of the earth is covered with water, but most of it is salty. Only 1% of all the earth's water is fresh that we can use. This means that water is a precious resource. Some places are very short of water, so it is important that we do not waste it. Instead, we must save or conserve it. We must also keep water supplies clean because dirty water can spread diseases and harm the people and animals that drink it. So what can I do? If we waste too much water, we will have problems finding enough water in the future. You might think that the problem is too big for you to do anything about, but if each of us does something, together we can make a difference. And we'll talk about that later as we go through the lesson. Why should we conserve water? 2/3 of Earth is covered in water, so you might think that there would be plenty of water to go around. But most of this water is in the oceans, and ocean water is salty. You cannot drink it because it would make you more thirsty and sick too. The salt also means we cannot use seawater for washing, cleaning or growing plants. We need to conserve water because there really is not that much we can use. And so here's a really good pie chart that shows you the amount of water. The purple area, that's the salt water. The pink area is actually ice caps and glaciers. And the yellow area, which is only 1% left, are the rivers, lakes and underground water sources that we can actually access our water from. We've worked with pie charts before, so you guys have an understanding of how they work. The water that we can use is called fresh water. It does not contain salt. Only 3% of all water on Earth is fresh water. Most of this is locked away as ice near the North and South Pole and in glaciers on high mountains. The only water available for us to use is in rivers, lakes and underground in areas called aquifers. What happens if we use too much water? If some people use more water than they need, other people can be left short of water. For example, if people take too much water from one part of a river, there may not be enough water for people living farther downstream. If we take too much water from underground sources, the water may eventually run out. In hot, dry countries and where there is a drought, conserving water supplies is even more important. So these boats used to float in the Aral Sea. Today there is about 75% less water in the sea than in the 1960s, and that's only 50 years ago. Taking too much water from rivers and lakes can also harm the animals and plants that live there. Taking water changes the natural flow of a river. This can make it difficult for fish and other animals and plants to live in the river. Taking too much water from lakes and wetlands can make them shrink, leaving plants that grow around their edges without water. Okay, we'll leave it at that for the moment, and we'll go on to talk about ways that you think we could actually conserve or save water in the home and in the school area, based on what we were reading there. Have you got any ideas about how we could save water? I guess we could talk about it together and then I'll write some of the ideas up on the board for us to use later.
Take quicker showers.
Take quicker showers? Yeah, okay, so how would that help conserve water?
Well, we used, was it 7 litres per minute? If you shorten them, then you'd have less water.
That's it, isn't it? So it's quite simple, you know, maybe take a 3 or 4 minute shower instead of 7 or 8 minute, and you halve your water usage. Okay, that's great. Okay.
We could turn the tap off when we're brushing our teeth.
Excellent. Great.
You could only wash clothes when got a full load.
Oh, great, okay, that's excellent. So wash clothes when the load is full. So these are all things we can do in the home, and it's exactly right. It's about being aware of the water that we're using and minimising or making sure that we use less water by turning the tap off when we need to, making sure there's no leaky taps or leaky hoses, and having quicker, shorter showers. What about in the school area? Anywhere you've noticed that we could possibly save on water?
It's in the toilets, but probably need to flush.
What do you guys do with your leftover water bottles every day? What do you do with the water?
Tip it out.
Yeah, where do you tip it out?
Anywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere, yeah. What about we use that water and we specifically put it on the water as we walked out of school, on the garden, as we walked out of school each day. And everybody in the school, we've got, what, 250 kids? They all tipped out their empty water. They emptied their water bottles onto the garden as they walked out of school. Do you think that would make a difference?
It'd be good for the garden.
It'd be good for the garden, wouldn't it? Gardens need water. So, I'll put the school one down here on the next page. Empty water bottles on garden. What about, do you ever see any leaky taps or hoses around? No? Oh, that's good, that's good. But if you did, what would happen? What would you do think? Would you ignore it or would you let somebody know?
You tell somebody.
Yeah, okay, so report any leaking taps. Yep, so we can get them fixed straight away. Okay. Very good. We'll leave it there for a moment because we've got 5 and we've got some good ones for home and school, and we're going to discuss them again later. So we'll just leave them there for the moment. Yeah, I'm actually going to discuss them now. I'm going to read to you again from some more pictures from this book about how we can save water, and we'll see, some of our answers up there might be there, but they might also give us some new ideas. Okay, how can we save water at home? There are 3 simple ways of cutting the amount of water we use. First, we can waste less water. Second, we can collect rainwater and use it instead of tap water. That could be something we do at the school, couldn't it? When it rains, we could put out buckets of water, etc., and then use them on the garden afterwards. Finally, we can reuse some water instead of pouring it down the drain. How can I waste less water? Huge amounts of water are just poured down the drain without being used for anything. This is a terrible waste. Here are some simple ways to stop wasting water. Don't let the tap run while you're brushing your teeth. Turn it off. Fill a basin or sink for washing in instead of letting the water run. When you turn on the hot water, collect the cold water that comes out first. Use it to water houseplants or the garden. And use a dishwasher or washing machine only when you have a full load. They covered a lot of the things that you guys have already said in your list up here. Well done. Does water leak away? Lots of water is wasted because it leaks away through dripping taps and leaky toilet tanks. A dripping tap can waste 27 litres of water a day. Check your home for dripping taps and ask your family to replace the washers. Save water by using only as much as you really need. One easy way is to take a quick shower instead of a bath. So that could save you 50 litres of water a day. You can save a litre of water every time you flush the toilet by putting a litre bottle of water in the tank. Well, that's an interesting way of saving water, isn't it? When your parents buy a washing machine or dishwasher, ask them to choose a model that uses water efficiently. How can we save water outdoors? Think of all the ways we use water outdoors. We water plants and lawns in the summer, and we use water for cleaning windows and cars. Here are some ways in which you can stop wasting so much water. Water plants and lawns in the evening to reduce evaporation. Put wood chips or straw or on flower beds to reduce evaporation. cut grass a bit longer than normal. This will keep the soil under the grass from drying out quickly in the hot weather. So just a quick explanation of what evaporating water is. Evaporation is the way in which liquid water turns into gas when it heats up. If you water your garden during the warm daytime, the water evaporates quickly. It is better to water the garden in the evening when it is cooler, so evaporation happens more slowly. Then the water has time to soak into the ground. Okay, now we'll have a quick look at how to save water in the school. At school, you use water for painting and washing in the washrooms, in the locker rooms, and for drinking. Water is also used in the school kitchens and for watering the landscape and playing fields. Saving water is good for the environment. It also saves money because your school has to pay for every drop of water it uses. How can we use less water? A simple way to save water at school is to make sure you turn off taps you use. Leaving them running wastes lots of water. Check that other students have turned the taps off too. Ask your school about putting in taps that turn off automatically. It's a good idea. Your school could also put in toilets that flush automatically after each use. Ask about saving water in the school kitchen. Water can also be used to prepare and cook vegetables, and they can be reused on your school's garden. Okay, so there's lots of ideas about saving water, and as you can see, it's a very important topic for us to look at and understand so that we can help and do our little bit about saving water. We'll be talking about this in the next few inquiry lessons coming up. But in the meantime, for the last 10 minutes of the class, we're going to put together a water watch poster, and we'll put them around the classroom and around the school or around the home if you like. Grab your science books, everyone, and choose a topic that you're interested in and use the coloured pencils to draw a water-wise poster. Whether it's remember to take quick showers or report leaking taps, you do the posters and we'll post them where they need to go. Thanks.